On the news tonight, Federal High Court issues new practice direction on pre-election matters. Groups endorse Governor Oyetola as Osun Governor poll draws nearer. On the foreign scene, British Foreign Secretary Liz Truss joins race to replace Boris Johnson. Good evening, and we're glad to have you join us on the major reports. I am Olubumi Ajiboye Agbola. Ahead of the 2023 general elections, the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court of Nigeria, Justice John Soho, has issued a new practice direction that would ensure fair, impartial, and expeditious determination of pre-election matters. The Assistant Director of Information of the Court, Dr. Catherine Christopher, said in a statement that the Chief Judge issued the new practice direction in the handling of pre-election cases in the exercise of the power conferred on him. The new practice direction said in all election matters, parties should minimize the time spent in dealing with interlocutory matters, ensure that the possibility of settlement is explored before the parties go into hearing, and also minimize undue adjournments and delays in the conduct of the matters. The statement added that the practice directions, which shall apply to every pre-election matter brought pursuant to the provisions of the Constitution and the Electoral Act 2022, shall apply notwithstanding the provisions of the Federal High Court Rules 2019. On hearing of cases, the Chief Judge said upon the close of exchange of processes between the parties, the court shall within 7 days set down the matters for hearing, and the court shall continue to accord priority to all pre-election matters until judgment is delivered. As the Saturday's governorship election in Osun State draws nearer, the National Peace Committee, under the leadership of retired General Abdulsalam Abubakar, has advised the Independent National Electoral Commission and all stakeholders to Abubakar made the plea in a statement issued to newsmen in Abuja. Information has that a peace deal that will involve all the governorship candidates will be signed on Wednesday under the supervision of the National Peace Committee in Osogbo, the state capital. General Abubakar maintained in the statement that the off-season election to hold in the southwest state offers yet another opportunity to consolidate the gains recorded during the Ekiti State governorship election of last month, as well as to further access the nation's preparedness for the 2023 general elections. The Peace Committee, which appealed to the electorate to come out in mass to exercise their civic rights without fear of violence and with the understanding that the structures for growth are dependent on peace, also expressed concern over the growing trend of vote buying. The National Peace Committee further called on all stakeholders in the traditional institutions, media, and civil society to be on the alert to their responsibilities as envoy of democratic values are the means to attaining good governance, resulting in the nation's collective growth and development. Meanwhile, youth leaders of the All Progressives Congress in Osun State have been charged to work assiduously towards the re-election of Governor Adegboyega Oyetola in the Saturday governorship election. The national youth leader of the All Progressives Congress, Comrade Dayo Israel, gave the charge while addressing youth leaders of the party ahead of the poll. Governor's Office correspondent Sonia Honoradi has more of the story.
That was the national youth leader of the All Progressive Congress, Honorable Dayo Israel, addressing the youth leaders of the party from across the state at Ilerioluwa Campaign Office, Osogbo, the state capital, on the significance in ensuring the re-election of Governor Adegboyega Oyetola in the Saturday gubernatorial election. Honorable Israel maintained that having put in an impressive performance in infrastructural developments, educational transformations, qualitative healthcare delivery, workers' welfare, as well as other social intervention, policies that also resonates with the yearnings and aspiration of the citizenry. It is only logical to ensure the continuation of the giant stride in transforming the state. It therefore appealed to the All Progressive Congress youth leaders in the state of Osun to rally round and work assiduously for the re-election of Governor Adegboyega Oyetola in the forthcoming gubernatorial election, urging them to canvass for votes vigorously at the grassroots across the state.
The greatest energy and resource the state has is in the young people of that state. We form the highest demography and population, and also the highest numbers of voters in the state. So what we have done is to bring together our key youth leaders under the leadership of the state youth leader to gather them together and energize them and encourage them and let them know that they are important, they are respected, and the state believes in them and we believe in their capacity. And so we'll mobilize them today, or energize them and encourage them to deliver the word, their local government, the unit for the party. And we believe by the grace of God, this will lead to our eventual victory on Saturday in this coming election.
A theme equally enunciated by the State Commissioner for Youth and Sport, Comrade Yemi Lawan, Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Youth, Comrade Kehinde Ayantunji, APC State Youth Leader, Comrade Akinwemimo.
For the success of the election of Mr. Governor on Saturday, and I can assure you that youth are charged and they are ready to deliver. If you look at the way Mr. Governor has governed the state over the period of 3.5 years, you will realize that the government has been youth-friendly and it is quite youth-focused.
This meeting to first maximize the members in our party and to also energize them, to strengthen them, to let them know that we respect them, we value them, and they also have a responsibility to play as far as this election is concerned.
Synergize and mobilize our people from world level to local government and SCDA to well prepare for the next Saturday governorship election in Osun.
Also on ground to lend hands of solidarity were Special Advisor to the Governor on Youth and Sports, Senatorial Youth Leader Imran Majid, Sona Youth Leader, as well as youth leaders from across the southwest region of the All Progressive Congress. From the Governor's Office, Sanya Onorinde reporting.
Also, the Tinubu Network Organization Southwest Zone have called on well-meaning individuals in Osun State to continue supporting the administration of Governor Adegboyega Oyetola beyond 2022. The coordinator of the organization, Mr. Jimoh Olorede, made the call at a special prayer organized for the victory of Governor Oyetola in the Saturday governorship election. Oluwatobiloba Odunuga reports.
Ahead of the governorship election in the state of Osun, the Tinubu Network Organization Southwest Zone, Osun State Chapter rallied support for the re-election of Governor Adegboyega Oyetola with a special prayer for the victory of Governor Oyetola at the July 16 polls and that of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu in the 2023 presidential election. Speaking at the special prayer program, the coordinator for Tinubu Network Organization TNO, Mr. Jimoh Olorede, maintained that they are standing strongly behind Governor Adegboyega Oyetola for his re-election in the coming Guba polls. He noted that they are supporting the continuity of Governor Oyetola's administration because his administration has performed tremendously well in the last 3.5 years. Mr. Olorede appealed to all eligible voters in the state of Osun to support Governor Oyetola by voting him in the coming July 16 gubernatorial election.
When the governor came on board, it started with renovation, rejuvenation, revitalization of the health sector. We have 332 political wards in this state, and we have, I can tell you, that we have 332 primary health centers also in the state, at least a health center in a political ward.
In the same vein, the organization secretary, Mr. Amusa Kazim, and the publicity secretary, Comrade Olashupa Beshin, noted that the incumbent governor has been able to reach out to all with the revitalization of the 332 primary health care centers in all wards across the state, including the road constructions and empowerment programs for vulnerables, among others.
To organize a prayer for the election of Governor Oyetola to return as the governor of the state of Osun.
The program climaxed with prayers for the success of Governor Adegboyega Oyetola in the coming Guba polls and that of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu in the 2023 presidential election. Oluwatobiloba Odunuga reporting for OSBC News.
In the same development, political elites in Osun State have been admonished to approach the Saturday governorship election with utmost caution and peaceful conduct in sustaining the current atmosphere in the state before, during, and after the election. Those who spoke with OSBC News correspondent Sonia Onoride included Alhaji Kamaruddin Alao, Dr. Ahmed Tadeshe, Alhaji Latif Adekileku, as well as Senator Babajide Omoworare, cautioned that election should not be a do-or-die affair. They speak in turn.
Firstly, I want to urge all Osun indigenes and all our Osun voters to be peaceful, to make sure that that day they go out and vote for their conscience, that they prefer their candidate.
My message is to the citizens of Osun. I will urge them to vote massively for Governor Adegboyega Oyetola. Why am I saying that? It's not only because I'm a member of APC. If you look around, Osun hasn't have it better than this.
So I want to appeal that people should vote for their own choice. The Yoruba says, Entoba Bebeji, Orotakaka. Traditional rulers, we religious members must remain neutral. But I want to appeal to our people in Osun State. I even told other people today that we should try to exercise your right. You don't say, Ibodidi, Haramoni, no.
Meanwhile, Governor Adegboyega Oyetola has said that victory for the All Progressives Congress in the Saturday governorship election would enable him build on achievements he had so far recorded since assuming leadership of the state. The governor, who was represented by a special advisor on civic engagement, Mr. Olatubosan Itile, said this during an engagement meeting with the state chapter of the All Farmers Association of Nigeria, Osogbo. Governor Oyetola, who noted that he had been serving the state diligently since the beginning of his administration, said those who lacked administrative capacity must not be allowed to truncate the development the state is currently witnessing. The governor assured that he will not renege on his campaign promises, adding that the general welfare of the masses will continue to be his utmost priority. In his remarks, AFAN chairman, Mr. Suleiman Araokomi, commended the governor for his various interventions in the agriculture sector. Araokomi, however, appealed to governments to give more firm inputs to farmers to enhance more food production and pledged the support of the association for Governor Oyetola's re-election. All roads will tomorrow morning lead to the Osogbo Township Stadium for the grand finale of the Osun All Progressives Congress campaign rally ahead of Saturday's governorship election in the state. Expected at this rally are party chieftains at the national level and across the 36 states of the Federation. In a statement by the Grand Rally Reception Planning Committee, spokesperson Funke Egbemode said the rally is not just a gathering of party faithful but also of lovers of democracy and governance, saying those are the things Oyetola, the Osun State APC governorship candidate, represents. The committee also assured that logistics to ensure each free outing has been perfected. Christians have been admonished to use their tongue to profess positively to the country in order to overcome many challenges bedeviling it. Evangelist Joshua Ajaybe of the Holy Ghost Revival Mission, Elisha, gave the admonition at the retirement program organized by the OSBC Christian Community for former Director of Programs on Radio, Mrs. Abosede Bamigboye. Oluchi Amoda's report is presented from our studios.
The retirement program organized by the OSBC Christian Community for one of her members who recently bowed out of public service, Mrs. Abosede Bamigboye, witnessed the gathering of top management staff of the corporation, junior colleagues of the celebrant, families, and friends who gathered to glorify God for sparing her life to witness such a joyous occasion. In his sermon at the event, Evangelist Joshua Ajaybe of the Holy Ghost Revival Mission, Elisha, admonished Christians to seek holiness and make their way straight with God. The cleric, who noted that the change everyone is looking for in Nigeria can only be made manifest if everyone genuinely serve God and seek the good of others. He congratulated the celebrant for serving God with her life and resources while in active service and urged others to emulate her. In his remarks, the Director General OSBC, Mr. Rashid Folaromi, described Mrs. Abosede Bamidoye as a dedicated staff whose meaningful contributions to the growth of the corporation will never be forgotten. He tasked staff members still in active service to continue to be dedicated to their duties and be genuinely committed towards service to God and humanity. In their testimonies, respondents including Prince Adeyeye Oyedokun, Mrs. Abimbola Babatunde, Mr. Shola Bolaji, Mr. Bayo Akinsoya, among others, eulogized the celebrant, saying that she has written her name in gold in the minds of the people.
Princess Queen,
I want to pray that God is caring. The family is a testimony from beginning to the end.
This way gives us joy. We are very, very happy, and we have to tender this. Our brother and your team, we are very, very happy with you.
The celebrant, Mrs. Bamidoye, was full of appreciation to God and the OSBC Christian community for honoring her. The event featured choir ministration and special prayer for the celebrant and her family, as well as all members of the OSBC Christian community. It climaxed with the presentation of gifts to Mrs. Bamidoye in appreciation for her contributions to the growth of the chapel. Oluchi Amuda, OSBC News.
Nigerians have called on the federal government and other stakeholders in the security sector to go back to the drawing board so as to put all security networks together to fight the incessant attacks mitigating the growth of the country. They made a call while speaking with OSBC News as they expressed great concern for the future of Nigerians following the recent invasions and attacks on the presidential convoy, the attack on Kuje Correctional Facility, and destruction of government formations, among others. Oluwatobiloba Odunuga has the details.
The issue of insecurity in Nigeria has become something of great concern to all well-meaning citizens, most of whom continue to wonder how the country arrived at such a dastardly situation where no one is safe, and worse still, rather than abate, the problem is escalating and now totally out of control. The country has always faced different difficult challenges at different times. As early as the 1960s, the country was involved in a 3-year civil war that totally decimated certain parts of Nigeria. In recent times, EDAS, ISWAP, IPOP, and Boko Haram, among others, have become another terrorist group who have continued to torment the Nigeria and their people. The recent destruction of government institutions in the East, attacks on Kuje Correctional Center, Abuja, as well as the attack on President Muhammadu Buhari's convoy in Katsina, as well as other cases of insecurity, have left Nigerians wondering how and when the country got it so bad. Speaking with OSBC News on this development, pundits including a retired permanent secretary in Osun State, Mr. Kola Buhari, and Dr. Rotimi Fagbule maintain that Nigeria is vulnerable to violent attacks because of the inadequate security measures, adding that innocent school children have been kidnapped on a daily basis while their parents are thrown into great despair. They noted that there is no gainsaying that insecurity in Nigeria today is more pronounced than in the yesteryears, and the recent attack will make the government to rise to their responsibilities.
It's a serious and grievous one. But I think it's like an expression of frustration on the lot of the people, masses generally. And maybe they wanted to send a message directly to our number one man himself that all is not well as far as our security architecture in the country is concerned. So I think, and I believably, a very appropriate and immediate, effective action will be taken therefrom.
And I believe, as at now, maybe our government will wake up. Because what has been happening has been happening to people who don't have anybody to cater for them, for the weak, for the poor, and for all those people who are just running helter-skelter to make both ends meet and eat. But our government, or let me say our leaders, they don't see anything. They felt like nothing is going wrong. But now that won't happen, maybe President Buhari will now know that the suffering is at the climax.
Mr. Kola Buhari and Dr. Rotimi Fagbule noted that the duty of every government is to ensure the security of lives and properties of the citizens, and whatever manner is adopted to guarantee peace and tranquility is not only welcome but also desirable. Oluwa Tobiloba Odunuga reporting for OSBC News.
Come to our sports segment. Super Eagles stars Moses Simon and Akikumi Amao missed out in the super final shortlist of their respective categories in the 2022 CAF Player of the Year Awards. The final shortlist in the 6 categories for this year's award was published today on CAF website. Omotayo Adebodo asked the details of this report and more from the world of sports.
Nigerian forward Moses Simon did not make the final 10-man nominees for the Men's Player of the Year award, while Akikume Amao missed out on the final 5-man shortlist for the Young Player of the Year award for men. For the Men's Player of the Year category, CAF released a star-studded final list of nominees, with some of the elite performance in the last few months making the cut. The list includes reigning CAF African Player of the Year Sadio Mane, Riyad Mahrez, Mohamed Salah, Edouard Mendy, Naby Keita, Vincent Abubakar, among others. Simon was included in the initial 30-man shortlist following his impressive performance for both club and country. Meanwhile, the women's category final shortlist will be announced in due course. The winner of each category will be decided by a voting panel made up of CAF Technical Committee, media professionals, head coaches, and captains of member associations and clubs involved at the group stage of the inter-club competition for the 2021-22 season. The CAF award will be held at Rabat, Morocco on the 21st of July. In the meantime, Paul Pogba has rejoined Juventus on a free transfer for 4 years after his Manchester United contract expired. The 29-year-old France midfielder won the Serie A title twice with the Italian giant before a then world record of £89 million transfer to United in 2016. United and Pogba were unable to agree a new contract, and the club confirmed at the start of June that he would leave as a free agent this summer. Paul Pogba scored 39 goals in 233 appearances across his 2 spells at the club, but his final home appearance against Norwich City in April saw him jeered by United supporters as he was substituted. Omotayo Adebodun, OSBC News.
While on the foreign scene, British Foreign Secretary Liz Truss has entered the race to replace Boris Johnson as Prime Minister, joining 10 other hopefuls in an increasingly bitter and unpredictable contest. These and more stories from around the world are packaged by Temitope Abdulkarim,
who has held ministerial jobs in several government departments, including Trade, Justice, and the Treasury, said she would slash taxes and maintain a tough line against Russian President Vladimir Putin. She is seeking to replace Johnson, who was forced out after his government imploded over a series of scandals. The contest is for the leadership of the ruling Conservative Party, with the winner then becoming Prime Minister. The aim is to find a successor by September. The race followed one of the most remarkable periods in modern British political history, when more than 50 government ministers quit, denouncing Johnson's character, integrity, and inability to tell the truth, with many members of parliament unhappy with the disgraced Johnson remaining in office until a successor is found. The party is likely to accelerate the election process. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka's President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has informed Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe that he will resign, as previously announced, after tens of thousands of protesters stormed the official residences of both the leaders. After the sweeping protests in the wake of a debilitating economic crisis, the Speaker of Parliament said Rajapaksa would resign on Wednesday, Party leaders have been in discussion to form an alternative government and urgent requirements of the bankrupt nation to continue discussions with the International Monetary Fund for a bailout program. Constitutional experts say once the president and the prime minister formally resign, the next step would be for the speaker to be appointed as acting president. In the meantime, the death toll from rain-related incidents over the past months has risen to 147 as monsoon rains continue to lash Pakistan, triggering flash floods in some parts of the country. The National Disaster Management Authority said 88 women and children were among the dead. The monsoon rains also damaged homes, roads, bridges and power stations across the country. The situation was particularly dire in the major southern port city of Karachi, the country's largest, where entire neighborhoods remained submerged today, leaving commuters stranded in places and attempting to wade through knee-deep water on foot or on bicycles. Temitope Abdulkarim, OSBC News.
And that ends the major report on OSBC TV. It was edited by Temitope Abdulkarim. I am Olubumi Ajiboye Agbola. Thanking you for being there.